everyone, I'm Ryan with Marine Parts Source, back again to share with you another really cool opportunity that we've come across with our specialty services facility up in Port Huron, Michigan. Now, not far from there in Algonac, Michigan, it used to be a real hotbed of boat building. In fact, it's where the iconic Chris Craft wooden boats used to be built back in the day. Now, there aren't many boat builders left around there. In fact, the only one left is Sunsation Boats, but they do incredible work. They build these really nice high-end center consoles that are decked out with all of the modern technology and advancements that you could want on a new boat. Now, we've built a really cool relationship with them over the past few years, and what we've identified is that they need some help with installing their bow thrusters. Not every one of their boats is going to come with a bow thruster. It's not standard, but when a customer does request a bow thruster on their boat, Sunsation didn't want to interrupt their building process to stop and install one. So they asked us if we could help them and take over the installation of the bow thrusters. We've done a bunch of them over the years, and so we were happy to help out. As you can see, we've got a red one that's just leaving, just finished up with a brand new thruster on it, ready to go to the customer. And this new blue one, this 32 foot, is coming in, and it's all prepared for us to put a new bow thruster in it. Once one of these boats arrives at our facility, the first thing to do is get it off of the trailer. So we use our yard arm jacks to lift it up. They are each rated for 10,000 pounds. We get that boat floating above the trailer, and then we can pull the trailer out of there. And then we will lower the boat back down onto blocks and boat stands, secure it so that we can begin the real work. Now, when you're installing a bow thruster on a boat, it's a pretty complex process, and you're gonna be drilling a hole into the side of the hull of the boat. In fact, you're drilling a hole on each side. So you wanna be really precise and make sure that you're doing things properly. So the first step in any one of these projects for us is to measure, and then measure again, and then measure one more time just to be sure. What we're doing is we're gonna be measuring 117 inches from the stern of this boat all the way to a certain point on the hull on the side, and we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. And then we're also gonna measure from the forward lifting eye down to that same position. Why are we doing all this measuring? We wanna get the pilot holes lined up exactly right to where they are exactly straight across from one another from one side to the next. We just want to make sure that everything is perfectly symmetrical. Then we're going to drill small pilot holes on each side at those marks that we made using a 1/4 inch by 14 drill bit. And so we're going to drill on one side, drill on the other, and then we're going to take a pilot rod and run it through from one side to the other. And as long as it completely lines up and there's no binding, that we know we've got those holes exactly straight across, and we're ready to move up to the hole saw. We're using a 5.5 inch hole saw to drill the hole that's going to take the thruster tunnel from one side to the other. With the holes drilled, the next step we take is to test fit the thruster tunnel, make sure that it's going to line up correctly. So we just slide it in there, and sometimes there may need to be a little bit of sanding on the hole just to get the fit perfect. Once we've got that established, that the tunnel's gonna fit perfectly, then we split up, and one person is going to actually sand the outside of the tunnel with the 80 grit sandpaper, and that's just to make sure that the resin is gonna adhere to the tunnel well. Meanwhile, another person is sanding a 2-inch taper around each one of the outside holes, and they're also cleaning up any gel coat that might be inside the hole. Finally, we trace the angle of the hole onto the tunnel, and then we cut it so that it will be completely flush with the hole once we install it. So now we've got these 2 gigantic holes on each side of our boat, and as we've learned over the years at Specialty Services, we really want to keep water outside of the boat, not inside. So we line the inside of the hole with a laminating resin that's just going to prevent any kind of water intrusion whatsoever. Next, it's time to install the tunnel, so we're going to slide the tube in and then put shims in to hold it in place. Then we're going to fill the gaps in with a polyester fairing compound, and we have to wait for that to cure. Once that is done, then we're ready to start glassing in the tunnel. Before we get started with the glass work, we clean up everything with acetone, and then the fiberglass itself is actually a 2-man job. So we're going to cut up fiberglass cloth strips 2 inches up to 6 inches, and we've got one person on the inside and one person working on the outside. We actually do 5 layers on the inside to really protect the inside of the boat, and we've got 2 layers on the outside to really firm up that installation there. After all that's done, we finish up with a chop strand mat for extra strength and full coverage. So then we have to wait for a while, let the fiberglass cure, and then we're ready to do some electrical work. So we're going to mount the auto disconnect, And we are also going to run some battery cables from the battery bank. We're going to run some communication cables from the dash and also install the joystick control. The glass is done, wiring's done. Our next step is we're going to just feather all that fiberglass on the inside and out, make the installation look really nice and smooth. Not on every job, but sometimes you run into air pockets and that can really ruin your day and make this step take a lot longer. We got lucky on this job, there were no air pockets to be seen. Now comes everybody's favorite part of the whole process, and by that I mean the most time consuming. That's the body work. What we're gonna do is use a polyester compound, which is similar to like a drywall mud, and just use it to level out all the surfaces, make everything look smooth. It hardens pretty quick, so we gotta work fast. Once that is done, we can come back over it with a finer compound to fill in any kind of imperfections or pinholes. Then we do one more once over with the acetone just to clean everything up, and then we mask the entire boat with painter's plastic. It kind of clings to the boat like cling wrap. And then we're gonna cut the area around the repair out because it is time to do the gel coat. Our technicians did about 5 layers of gel coat. When they would apply a layer, they would wait about 30 minutes, maybe even longer if it's colder. Once that is all done, all 5 layers are on, then they apply a curing agent as well to help it all harden up. And once all of that is cured, then they take off all of the plastic, pull all the tape, and they do the inside of the tunnel. They do 2 layers of gel coat inside the tunnel, as well as the curing agent as well. Next, we clean everything up with just some soapy water, and it's time for sanding and polishing. We start with 320 grit sandpaper, just to get everything kind of smoothed out without damaging that brand new gel coat. And then it's just a wet sanding marathon, first with 500 grit and then 1000 grit. Just really fine grit so we get everything super smooth and buffed out, make it look super nice until it shines like a mirror. And that's it, another thruster installation for Sunsation complete. We're doing them all the time. Those guys are rocking and rolling. They're sending us boats all the time, and we're so happy to be in partnership with them and be able to work on these beautiful boats. Now, of course, thruster installation is not the only thing that our folks at Specialty Services can do. We've got really talented, experienced technicians, and we can do everything from a new Suzuki engine repower, we can do the thruster installations, we can do a plumbing system overhaul, we can do air conditioning installations, and so much more. So if you got a special project that you'd like to do on your boat, and you've got it in the Port Huron, Michigan area, give us a call. We'd be happy to help you out. And of course, if you're looking for parts and equipment for your boat, just visit us online at marinepartssource.com. And we really appreciate you watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, leave any comments you have below, and we look forward to seeing you next time.